I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Because we've never ever put a one take up on the main channel.
I know,
but we film them all the time.
I know. Do you want to do intro or?
Sure. So Grace and I can't decide if I want to look at the camera
I thought you were
or the
doing,
mic.
I thought we were doing our intro.
Oh, you mean wakey wakey?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Get ready.
Wakey wakey, eggs and bakey.
Grace and I film on the second channel a lot in one takes. So this is kind of like stylistically inspired.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll be cool. It'll be like you'll get to see a raw, unscripted side of us.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about something kind of vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. Just like that much.
But this has been a video in my video idea Google Doc for like almost a year now.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen Who a Cat. I don't think
that's how the one take videos work.
I don't think anybody really talks about it in a healthy way. Sometimes they talk about it in like sensationalized, scandalous ways. So today, Arthur, go ahead.
Thank you.
Today we're going to be talking about our exes, because exes are often a thing that people have, even when they're in happy, healthy relationships.
Yeah, and a lot of the time it's a very much so like taboo
thing to talk about.
Yeah, and so I think we're gonna explore how we've talked about our exes and what are healthy ways to bring it up in other relationships.
Because, let's not lie, I feel like a majority of us are curious about our partner's ex, and and sometimes we have insecurities, and I don't know, talking, as long as you do it in a productive way, I don't think is a bad thing. So I have 2 questions and Grace has 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
So my first one is, do you remember the first time I brought up my ex, and how did you feel and what was it about?
Let's see here. You kind of coyly brought him up on our 3rd date a little bit, but not really. But otherwise, God, it was probably within the first month that we were actually officially dating, and you kind of had to explain the situation or whatever to me. And I remember feeling a little threatened, I won't lie. It was definitely something that took me a little off guard, but not anything that...
What took you off guard, and why did I bring it up?
We were talking about why we had started off so slow.
Yeah, we started off real slow.
Yeah, we started off really slow, and you were explaining why it was so slow in the beginning. You're like, well, I didn't want you to be a rebound.
I just ended a relationship, and I just happened to meet Grace pretty quickly, and I didn't want anyone's feeling. I really liked her, so I wanted to do it right. So I made sure we moved real slow.
Arthur's just trolling us right now. Arthur!
Okay, keep going.
So I remember that, and I remember feeling slightly threatened because I didn't know that you guys had been together for so long beforehand. But the way that you brought it up did make me feel really secure. I remember that you're that's why I waited. That's why I wanted to make so sure before anything happened. And that actually made me feel really good, because it meant that you really took my feelings into consideration, and it wasn't just just a kind of a thing no, I thought about it, and there was deliberate action. And I also respected the fact that you didn't want to disrespect him, I thought that was good. I respected you more for that.
Thanks, Barbara.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your question?
Okay, my first question is, how did you feel that the majority of my exes, when I started talking about, were women that I still spent time with?
That was weird at first. Not actually weird, and I learned that it wasn't weird, but I can't lie. So you said you were threatened. I was a little threatened at first too, because a lot of Grace's exes are still in the picture of her life. And what was even more confusing was they were really dope and bomb. So, how can you, not like a person who's really cool? And then I, would wonder, well, if they're so cool, why isn't she still with them? Like, why didn't it work out? Like, I'm looking at this person. Like, they're, like, objectively cute. They're very, like, fun. Like, what went wrong? So I think that was, like, something that was strange for me at first.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, the more that we all spent time together, the more I just, like, picked up on the energy. And, like, the energy that you have with your exes is, like, super platonic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it would be weird to me now.
Yeah.
To, like, to imagine your past relationship. I'm like, oh, I don't see it.
Same here. Okay, you go ahead. What's your other question?
I don't know if I remember my other question. I had it.
I just looked in the viewfinder. Naughty me.
Okay, we can just make it, well, how do you bring up talking about your partner's ex? And when? Like, when is it appropriate? And why might somebody bring it up? And how do they do it in a good way?
So...
Feel free to tell a personal story.
Yeah. I think if, like, for me, I think I had certain insecurities or different things that made me feel anxious in any relationship due to my past relationships. And I think it's really important to understand that your partner should probably know about those. I don't know if that makes sense.
Sure, like your baggage.
Yeah, like,
That makes sense.
and just because, like, I hate, not like I hate it, but sometimes I think it's a little ridiculous that people are like, well, that wasn't me, so you shouldn't hold me to that standard, because their pain is still completely real. They still experience, they know that pain is possible.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a little, not like, I don't want to say like silly or anything like that, but it's, I don't know, to me, I think that it's, especially like in a marriage, you know, like we have, it's so important.
We're married.
Yeah. Oof.
Keep going.
It's so important to I want you to know everything that I'm feeling, so that, like, you don't think it's almost anything that it is your fault. It's just my own personal, like, thing that I'm dealing with, but it doesn't make it any less real for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
Does that make sense?
No, that absolutely makes sense. And, like, oh, yeah, like, I remember I had a really big issue with fighting.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, my ex and I never really fought. So the first time Grace and I fought, I was really thrown for a loop.
And I was like, this is so normal.
I know. And it turns out that Grace and I sometimes fight and have disagreements because we're really passionate about each other.
Yeah.
And our lives. And
here's the thing,
we
you
have
guys.
this, like, hot and spicy chemistry.
Yeah, we definitely disagree at times.
Yeah.
That happens.
But, yeah, I think it is important. I think that's, like, a really appropriate time to bring up your ex when you're, like, learning about how to navigate this
or how you communicate.
Yeah, or, like, what kind of, like, you know, haunts you from your past. I don't know if I can't really think of anything from my ex that comes to mind for things that, like, I don't know, quote unquote, trigger me, but, like, I don't know if
you have, like, triggers, but you definitely have, I think that there's things that
from my, like,
when you were a kiddo, but, like, even, like, you have a fear of complacency, you know, and stuff like that, and that's important for me to understand. And if I didn't know that, then, like, you do run other risks, and, like, you know, especially when Ash is gone, you know, sometimes, you know, at first they really didn't, like, text a whole ton or Skyped.
Yeah. I never texted really or Skyped in my old relationship. It just wasn't a thing. It just wasn't part of our dynamic. So
yeah. And then when I wanted to a lot,
it threw me off.
Yeah.
Turns out I really like to text and Skype, though. So it's dependent on the person. You know, sometimes two people get together and they work not texting like very often, and sometimes people can't stop texting each other. I like the amount we text. What's your last question?
Okay, my last question is, I'm trying to think about the best way to word this. When do you feel it's inappropriate to bring up your ex or talk about your ex?
Okay, so I recently met somebody who was talking about their kids, and their kid had a new girlfriend, and then they were talking about their kid's ex-girlfriend, and I thought this was really inappropriate. So the ex-girlfriend had just met the family but the ex-girlfriend who's the girlfriend at the time. This is gonna get convoluted. Okay, so
Can you just give them names like
sure. Okay, so
Sam?
Mary was telling me about her son Ben, and Ben was dating Jane. So Jane met Ben's family for the first time, and Jane was like, "Tell me about Ben's ex. What was Ben's ex like? How am I different than it?" I know. And then she found out she didn't even know Ben's ex's name, and then she learned it, and then she tried to friend Ben's ex on Facebook. Like, for what reason? So I thought that was weird. Like, I don't know. Like, are you trying to like gain intel or be territorial or mark your territory or say step off? This is mine now. I don't really. That seems kind of controlling. So I guess that would be I think that would be inappropriate. I would only ask when your intentions are to
hurt.
That's when I wouldn't ask.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Inappropriate. Yeah.
Well, no, that was my question. What do you think it's inappropriate? My thing is like if you're doing it to somehow hurt, the other person,
or be distrustful or sneaky, I think it's just, unless you're trying to like learn more about your partner and their past and how you guys could work together, unless you have like a productive intention, I guess maybe talking about an ex isn't super necessary. So maybe like, but if you both are still fine with it, I mean, do whatever you want.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
When do you think it's not okay?
The only time I would think it isn't okay is if, like, this would hurt me. Let me word it that way. It would hurt me.
Sure, you personally.
Yeah, if we were like in a disagreement and you were like,
and I like
threw it back at me, like, or something.
Like, Kevin would never do that.
Yeah, and then that would really hurt me.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm trying to think of it. If
comparing isn't like awesome.
No, yeah, no, but so like when I talk about my exes, it's usually either because of an experience or because of a communication style that I'm trying to relate, or something that does or does not work for me in a relationship that I've learned. I think that's okay. And one thing that Ash and I do is like, especially if we're around people, we'll like be like, I'm going to talk about this just in case you're like blindsided or something. It was funny because we both did it when we were with Elena. Fender, like, are you guys okay? And she was like, I was like, yeah, we just like to kind of give each other the heads up.
Yeah,
and that we're going to be talking about it just so it doesn't. They're not just in case for some reason they weren't.
Grace and
sure.
I always do checks in with each other to make sure we're comfortable with what's happening. Like,
yeah,
is
almost
this okay?
always.
How are you feeling?
Yeah.
And it's not because like if somebody is uncomfortable, we just stop and repress. It's like, oh, you are uncomfortable? Okay, like
let's talk about it. Let's learn why.
Yeah, exactly, and let's figure out what we can do to make you feel better and like kind of unpack this. So, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this is a good talk.
It was a good talk.
I really liked it.
Me too.
Yeah. I also shot something on a channel called Kind of TV. It's called, it was me talking about what I think pride is in one word.
Oh, that's cool.
I chose the word love.
Oh.
I know. And I talked about...
I thought you would have chose booba.
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 Should we say our second channel goodbye?
Yeah, our outro? That's the industry term, correct?
Yes.
Now that I'm very...
Should we sign off?
Yes.
Get ready.
Splish, splash, waterfall, give a dog a bone. Bye, guys.
Bye. So now the only thing we have to do
is take a thumbnail.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe you, nor do I want to. The words that you say are dirt. And if things don't add up, you know that I'll make them. I'll fake all these numbers and words.